is Datila, and welcome to the TNAIW GoGo Power Rankings show. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, Burt Maclin, no relation to Steve Maclin.
And wait a minute, I thought this was the VR Trooper ranking show.
They're big bad Beetleborgs.
Okay. How are you doing? How's everyone doing?
He bears some resemblance, I should say, to Steve Maclin. Look at that hair.
Thank you.
Alrighty. So, who did you make the power rankings this week?
To me, I always just look at how the show kind of starts and finishes, and I would say Bullet Club and definitely Mickie James, just since she did get the pin to end the show, her being near the top.
I am so happy, so incredibly happy. Chris Bay got the victory here. So happy. So I expect to see him on the power rankings.
Well, he should have got not to nitpick, but that match went on a little too long for my take. He went a little too long with Thomas Dreamer, as I call him when Tommy Dreamer is wearing glasses. It's Thomas Dreamer. But there should have been no way that match lasted that long, but I'm glad he got the win.
Definitely. We'll talk more about that when we get more detailed in the power rankings. I expect to see Trey Miguel, hell of a match against Allen Five Angels. And I expect to see Mickie James, Jordan Grace, maybe Taylor Wilde, as part of them. I unfortunately don't expect to see the Death Dolls again this week because they weren't scheduled this week. But before we get more depth and detailed into the power rankings, Burt, how do you join the power rankings committee?
All you have to do is just reach out to me on Twitter, Burt Maclin 11. Simple as that, and we'll get you into the rankings. We're just always looking for Impact fans. So Burt Maclin 11, hit me up. Even
if you're a Melvin, we don't. At this point, we'll be more than welcome to allow you guys to join the power rankings. But with that being said, let's play the power rankings. Number 10, Vex and Giselle Shaw. Number 9, Steve Maclin. Number 8, I Believe in Joe Henry. Number 7, Advancing Black Taurus. Number 6, Advancing Trey Miguel. Number 5, World Champion Josh Alexander. Number 4, Bay and Ace Bullet Club. Number 3, Hardcore Country Mickie James. Number 2, Cardona and Myers, the major players. Number 1, World Champion Jordan Grace. Alrighty. Wow. Okay. This power ranking list is, I would say, unique in a way. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. Just because there's definitely new faces, but I think just the positioning of everybody, yeah, it's definitely unique.
It definitely is. So let's talk about number 10, Vex and Giselle Shaw. I believe this is the second week in a row, I believe, that they're at the number 10 spot. So that just goes to show that they're doing something right to still continue to be a part of the rankings, don't you think?
I think, yeah, and I think they would be a little higher. Giselle took a moment to pose with the belt. Nothing wrong with that. Great heels. There's always time for a good pose, but they cost them the match. But I think they would be higher if they would have won. But yes, them at number 10 just shows how over they are.
And not only that, it speaks volumes about them because they're not the Knockouts Tag Team Champions.
No.
And as you said, the champions do hold a lot of weight in the rankings, yet the Death Dolls, who are the Knockouts Tag Champions, are nowhere near the rankings.
Exactly. And just to go off what you're saying, speaking of people who are not champions being high, I want to go to the fact that, real quick, the major players being at number 2. And I know Myers is the digital media champion, but I think that right there shows you the seeds being planted of like the next top act in Impact or one of them. I don't know. I cannot take my eyes off them. They just scream main event heels to me. I think Brian Myers has done a great job since being that champion, as being the best digital media champion they've had in that short history, just kind of making people want to beat him for the belt. But yeah, them at number 2, when really only one of them is champion, and that just kind of shows you how hot that group is right now.
And to add to what you're saying, Heath and Rhino, who are the current tag team champions, are also not on this week's power rankings. So would you make the argument that maybe the champion being champion doesn't hold as much weight in the rankings as it used to? Because neither male or female tag champions are on this week's power rankings.
Well, I just think it also has to do with who you're feuding with. It takes two to tango. You can't, just because someone's champion, no one wants to watch people who are champions have boring feuds. So I think just because you're champion doesn't guarantee that means that you're exciting. So, and I think the major players are exciting right now. I'm not saying they're more exciting than Heath and Rhino, but they're definitely exciting.
They certainly are. And I want to talk about number 7, advancing Black Taurus. I talked about this last week. I expected to see Black Taurus on this power rankings because he's just been on the roll as of late, And I like Yuya Uemura. Don't get me wrong. I like Yuya. But I honestly think Black Taurus is probably going to make it to the finals.
Yeah, I definitely think so as well.
And I don't know if you watched Triple Mania, but in an interview, Black Taurus said he has his eyes set on the X Division title. So I could potentially see Black Taurus winning this whole entire tournament.
And yeah, I think him being champion just kind of shows how the X Division is always just a bit about no limits, and him just being the champion just kind of will be indicative of how the history of that belt and the different kinds of wrestlers that have held that belt. So, like a Samoa Joe type being X Division champion. So yeah, definitely want to see Black Taurus hold that belt eventually.
I definitely do it. I think it will happen. I think by the end of the year, he will be champion. If he doesn't win this X Division tournament, I'm very curious to see who would win. But I honestly think Black Taurus is taking it, and he's very well deserved at that number 7 spot.
I want to talk real quick about. Oh yeah, definitely. I want to talk real quick about Bullet Club at number 4. The more I watch Ace and Bay, I just keep being reminded of kind of when the Young Bucks joined. You have these 2 almost up and comers, brash attitude, and they add this kind of energy to the group, and I just think that they could have potential to take the Bullet Club to the next level. They're just so money as a team, and watching that whole segment, they have great chemistry together too, and I want to see them as tag champs, but them together holding singles belts, I have no problem with that too, just because they complement each other so well. And them at number 4, I'm very happy to see them kind of rebouncing back. I know Chris Bay just signed an extension, so good for him. I'm glad he'll be an impact for the long term. So yeah, Bullet Club at number 4, that's awesome.
I certainly agree with you. I am also a big fan of Chris Bay and Ace Austin. You know that. And I think that it's great that they're back on here. I'm really happy Chris Bay got the victory here. I would have felt some type of way. Let me tell you something. I would have felt some type of way, and this whole show would have been me ranting if Chris Bay would have lost to Tommy Dreamer of all people.
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely. He does not need to be. If one thing, if he lost to Bully Ray, just because Bully Ray is the number 1 contender right now, but no one needs to be losing to Tommy Dreamer at this point.
Yeah. All right. So, of course, I want to talk about number 8. I believe in Joe Henry. Yes, I do believe in Joe Henry, okay? I believe in Joe Henry. So, last week he was, number 9. Now he's number 8. So, he's working his way to the top. So, I'm really happy to see that. I cannot wait to see what else he has in store for Impact. So, I'm really happy to continue seeing him on the Power Rankings.
Yeah, and he's almost there for me, just in terms of he's got the look, that promo that he cut. He's got that total prick heel, which I like. I just don't like his entrance song. It's just very corny to me. It doesn't. I just don't like him singing. I don't like it. But with that being said, because Matthew Raywald pointed out that he can sing during the match, if him and Matthew Raywald want to release some sort of Christmas album, Impact Stars Sing the Hits, I'd buy that.
Me
I'd buy
too.
that. I'd buy that.
I would buy that too, and I would rank their hits.
Yeah, we definitely.
All right, so number 9, Steve Maclin. I'm so happy to see Steve Maclin back on these power rankings. So much potential. Honestly, at this point, I think Josh Alexander is going to surpass Bobby Roode's title reign, and I think Steve Maclin is going to be the one to take the title from Josh Alexander, just because I feel like he's the most credible. Aside from Steve Maclin, I can't think of anybody who could potentially take the title off of Josh Alexander, unless you want to revisit his whole rivalry with Moose, but I feel like it's too soon.
This week I voted Steve Maclin ahead of Josh Alexander, and it's just perfectly kind of goes into what you're saying. The backstage segment when Steve Maclin, you have Kazarian and Josh sitting there, and Kazarian is a number 1 contender. We saw Bully Ray earlier in the night, but when Steve Maclin attacked him, that's all I was like, that's who is going to be your next champion. Even though he doesn't have a match yet, that's who to me stood out as the person that's going to be the one to beat Josh with Steve Maclin. They're like planting the seeds for it. You just need to pay. That storyline will be rewarded with Steve Maclin winning the belt. I don't see any other way.
Same. I mean, they planted the seeds for Eddie Edwards and Josh, and we ended up getting that. So I do think that they're planting the seeds for Maclin and Josh. But first,
yeah. Sorry, but I was going to say, I said before, though, I don't want Steve Maclin to be skipped, but I would have no problem if they had a way to put it on Cardona. Because, like I said, I think Cardona is the best he's ever been right now. And I think Impact is a chance, the place where he could be world champion for the first time. But Maclin definitely, I think, is ahead of him. But I would not be upset if Cardona got it.
So do you think before we get Josh versus Maclin, do you think we might get Josh versus Cardona? Or do you think he'll topple Maclin and move on to Cardona?
Yes, but I wouldn't. Yeah, but I wouldn't have. If they do that match, I wouldn't have Cardona take I would have it end in an interference, just because I don't really want Cardona to be taking too many pins at this moment. I kind of want to keep him on a roll in terms of it'd be one thing if in tag matches, Myers takes the pin, just because I see Cardona slightly above Myers. No disrespect to Myers, but I don't want Cardona taking a lot of singles L's right now.
Yeah, definitely. So I want to talk about numbers 3, Hardcore Country, Mickie James, and number 1, World Champion Jordynne Grace. Because first of all, Mickie James continues her last rodeo, so props to her. She did get the victory for her team, so understandably why she is number 3, mainly because she's not champion. Jordynne Grace is, even though she's the one that got the victory for the team. So
yeah,
but it surprises me that both of them are on the power rankings, yet poor Taylor Wilde, who was also a part of that match, is just nowhere near the rankings. So what made Mickie James at number 3, and obviously Jordynne Grace, because she is a knockout champion, at number 1, be on the power rankings, but yet Taylor Wilde, where is she? Why isn't she on the power rankings? She was a part of that team.
Well, I voted for Mickie 1 this week just because I thought she looked the best out of 3 in that match. I thought, no disrespect to Jordan, I put Jordan in my rankings also, but Jordan being number 1, I'm fine. I just think Taylor Wilde stood out less between the other two, and there are only 10 spots, so you know what I mean. And it's not like they're a team. I put Bex and Giselle Shaw together basically just because from the jump it's basically seemed, especially this week, they had an entrance together, so I associate them more with a team. So I wasn't going to put all 3 of them, Taylor, Jordan, and Mickie, in a team this week. I just didn't think that made sense. But yeah, I definitely just think that Jordan and Mickie stood out more than Taylor. But with that being said, just real quick, I think Taylor will be one of the people that faces Mickie on the way to Mickie winning the championship. I see Mickie probably facing the last 2 members of Vex and then Taylor before she gets a title shot, and then maybe Tasha. I don't think they're gonna have her run through the whole roster, but I definitely think she's gonna. We obviously said that she's gonna beat Jordan. We both have said that.
Yes, we have. And I honestly would be shocked if she doesn't beat Jordan. I do think Mickie James will probably be the one to beat Jordan and have one last run as champion. Like I told you when Jordan was feuding with Masha, I think you have the potential to make a star or to put someone over if whoever beats Mickie James. And well, it remains to be seen.
And you just said who's going to beat Mickie James.
Masha Slamovich.
It will be Masha because we haven't seen her right now. They'll bring her back after Mickie James beats Jordan. You'll start seeing maybe some more videos of Masha hyping her return, and then she'll go on a warpath. Because I don't think Mickie James is going to have a long run with the title, but that will make Mickie. I said before, Masha retiring Mickie and winning the belt is slightly a bigger moment than her defeating Jordan to win the belt. That's like Masha's signature moment in Impact if she retires Mickie to win the belt. She retires a legend.
I think she beats Mickie at Slammiversary.
Okay, so that would be like in June or whatever?
Yeah.
And so Mickie beats Jordan when? Like at the January show?
Yeah, Hard to Kill. Or No Surrender.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Or you could do the opposite way, have Mickie win at Slammiversary and have Masha beat her at Bound for Glory.
That's true too. Especially because that would make sense too, because I would rather them do that and somehow do a women's Bound for Glory series and have Masha win that and have her run through that. I think that's a great way to build Masha back up too. So yeah, I would like that idea.
All right. I think we've talked about a lot of stuff, a lot of points. Is there any other points or things that you want to talk about before we get ready to wrap up?
No.
I guess I guess we covered everything. So with nothing else left to talk about, we just want to say thank you guys all so much for watching. And you guys have been watching. We got what, nearly 60 views on last week's GoGo Power Rankings show, which means the world to us, you guys, because Burt and I, we enjoy doing this show and we love talking about rankings. Burt and I could be here all day talking about this, but we don't just the fact that you guys watch us just means the world to us. Seriously.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It means the world. Seriously. You guys are freaking more phenomenal. Yes, pun intended, more phenomenal. So So as always, thank you guys so much for watching and for the continuous support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever this video drops or whenever TNAIW releases a new video. And we'll see you guys next time. Have a happy and safe Halloween. Bye.
Bye.